This is Callum Smiles for Vox Populi Media here in the city centre of Dublin for the National Rally protest. Thousands of Irish patriots have come out to show their support for their country and their opposition to illegal immigration. Just down the street in Dame Street is the Counterprotest, the left-wing group, those claiming that all these people here are simply racist. However, I've come here to find out exactly why they've come out today and to see if they really are racist. My thinking is they're not. Why have you come here today to this national rally?
Yeah, I came here to save Ireland from globalism, from Marxism and all these other sort of things that's going on. I've been doing this for 3 years. These protests in Ireland kicked off in a little part of Dublin called East Wall. I was there on the first night and I went back down and I did something a bit like yourself. You come down and you just take videos of the crowds. And it just built and there's been ups and there's been downs.
And what's your feeling now compared to when it first started? Because when it first started, I mean, I saw some of the early protests, it was a handful of people. Mm-hmm. Now we're looking, it's a sea of green and orange. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, proud. At the start, I knew that this would happen. I knew we would get here. I knew what Irish people are like. We're a very tight-knit community in Ireland. You mightn't see it online as much, but you'll see in the WhatsApp groups and everybody is all talking about everything. But there was that fear of being called a racist, being called far right, and all these other slurs. But over time, the crowds just kept growing. And as I said to somebody earlier, Ireland is a bit of a bandwagon country. Once the bandwagon gets going, everybody's down to jump on. And at the minute, as you can see, everybody's on the fucking bandwagon, and we're going one way, and that there's the change the country. Now, it's not going to be overnight. We know it's not going to be overnight. These things are in inches and inches, and we've been moving forward, so I'm really happy with that.
There'll be people here today that go back to the very first protest, would have definitely disagreed with you.
Yep.
Probably even called you a racist.
Yep.
Has anyone apologised?
No one has apologised yet. Not publicly. Now, a lot of my friends and stuff, they've came and they were like, at the start I thought you were a bit mad. Like you said it was all Muslim men, and then now it is all Muslim men, and you're right. And I was like, look, you don't need to apologise. Are you going to turn up to the protest? 100% he turns up to the protest. So he's here today, and that's an apology for me. Do you know what I mean? That's all I need from it.
Many local faces were in attendance and some organisers arranged for 1,000 flags to be handed out. Having covered the Irish anti-illegal immigration protests for a few years now, it was interesting to see what started out as small localised groups has now grown into a massive national collective whilst also keeping their individual groups intact. So I am here at the very front of the march, and let me tell you, it is one of the biggest protests I have ever seen in Ireland. A few years ago, there were small protests, people who could see exactly what was going on. Now, the entire nation's eyes have been opened, and they have turned out in their thousands today to let the likes of RTE, the state broadcaster, know, to let the government know that they are sick and tired of their immigration policies that are sinking the country. But today wasn't a one-off. The momentum now seems unstoppable. Only a couple of weeks ago, 3 hours south of Dublin in Cork, Derek Bly organised a national rally which also drew in thousands from around the country to protest against the state's migration policies and the rapidly changing demographic in Ireland of mainly third world men. As the protest made its way through the streets, it wasn't long before it was met by the much smaller yet very vocal counter-protest.
McGregor's a rapist!
He's on your side!
I say protect women!
That's our lie!
McGregor's a rapist!
He's on your side!
Say it loud, say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here!
Government!
Stop the migrants!
Blame the landlords!
Stop the migrants!
McGregor's a rapist!
He's on your side!
As you can see on this side, there is the actually rather small counter-protest. They're making quite a bit of noise, but they are massively outnumbered by, if you just come here with the camera and see the crowd that's still coming in now, I would hazard a guess to say that this crowd is probably dwarfed at about 15, maybe 20 to 1, and that's not an exaggeration. This crowd is stretched right down that street, and they're not even taking up half of the bridge. So to me, it's clear to see the attitude in Ireland has clearly changed. There is still a small minority claiming to welcome refugees or so-called refugees into Ireland, but these ordinary people behind my left shoulder have seen exactly what's happening to their country, and they're sick and tired of it, and they are letting the nation know.
Do you see the hypocrisy? Look at the two-tier police in here. You see every Garda here staring at us. Now, where's the police for them? Us, we're the troublemakers apparently. This is it. They're flying a terrorist flag in our country. Shame be to them. Shame be to them.
After the two protests shouted at one another, the march continued down to where the speeches were held.
We came here today to protest again our absolute disaster of an Irish government that are allowing these foreign immigrants to come in and destroy our country. Absolute destroy it. I personally look again immigration, but it has to be legal. Absolutely has to be legal. So unless we do what we're doing, it might change something, but we've got to do it. It has to be done.
And thousands stood and eagerly watched the speakers of the day address the crowd.
Every storm, every whisper in the wind carries the story of those who gave everything. Men and women who dreamed of a free Ireland and paid the ultimate price.
And I even hear people on the sides of the roads begging for what's truly theirs. It's in the Bunrock Nahiran to house and to help the poor people of society. And our people are left begging all the time while people come into this country and they get everything handed to them. When the true girls get into the door, all of that is going to stop. We're going to clean up shop.
So Ciara, tell me about today's protest, and more importantly, why you come to these sorts of protests.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the crowd. It was an amazing day. It is an amazing day. It's always an amazing day, and we're growing all the time, Callum, you know. Why do I come? Because I'm well aware of what's going on. Our government are rotten to the core. They need to go, and we need to get rid of all these men out of the country, because it's not going to go well.
And the last Dublin protest really put this movement on the global map. Where does this one today compare to the last one? Is this bigger, same size, slightly smaller?
I reckon it's a little bit bigger. I was up speaking, so I did kind of have a little bit of a look. Again, we're not, later on we'll have a look back and really see the numbers. But we're definitely growing. We are. We're talking. We're telling people what's going on. It's important to communicate. Our communities are together now. The Irish are having each other's backs again, the way we used to. And we're going to get rid of them. I'm very, very confident in that.
So Glenn, tell me about today's protest. How do you think it went?
Oh, it went absolutely brilliant. It's the amount of people that showed up. It looks like it's doubling or tripling at this stage, and the people realise that there's some serious problems happening in Ireland, and they want it addressed. Political landscape is changing in Ireland, and this is the result of it. Thousands of people out demanding something to be changed or something to be talked about, consultation, anything. They just want something.
Do you think we're at a point now where even the likes of RT and the current, political powers can't downplay what we've seen here today?
I'd love to say no, they can't, but truly the mainstream media in this country has far too much control over people's minds. The vast majority of people in this country continue to watch RTE and all of the other mainstream medias, and they have agendas and they have things they're not allowed to say or not allowed to point out. They have certain ethnic groups or certain religions, related to crime or any statistics, not allowed to reveal. So you're talking about that big massive wall, big massive control over our people, and how to break through that, it'd be absolutely impossible. I suppose this movement is growing through word of mouth and through social medias and stuff like that. And you have to keep going about that. Hopefully that will work. That's all I'll say.
You mentioned there about this movement. Do you think it's now at a point that the movement is too big to stop?
Oh yeah, it's gonna grow and grow and grow. All it needed was momentum, and it definitely did get momentum, because the amount of problems that are shown up through social media, that are shared through WhatsApp, it's exploding. A day doesn't go by, the amount of problems people see, and that's why people are out, because they're seeing it. They're seeing that their country is being turned around into this horrific dystopian future, and we don't want any part of it. So yeah, it's gained enough momentum, and there's no stopping us.
So in true Irish fashion, the heavens have opened, but it hasn't dampened the spirits of all these Irish national patriots at today's rally. Quite often the rain will put people off from these sorts of things, but as you can hear and as you can see, these people have no interest in going home just yet. This has been Callum Smiles for Vox Popular Media on what is now a very, very wet yet very optimistic day here in Ireland.